Hi everyone. In this video, we're going to create a pickup item cylinder effect. You've probably seen this in older games, especially in top-down games. The effect is simple. We have a cylinder with a material. I also added a collision box around it. When the player enters the collision, the cylinder gently lowers in height. When the player moves away, it returns smoothly to its original size. I got the idea from the game Cronos, The New Dawn. I'll show a short gameplay clip of that now so you can see the inspiration. All right, let's get started. First, I'll create a new material and name it M_beam. Now for the material settings. Set the blend mode to translucent, change the shading model to unlit, and make sure to check two-sided. Next, add a texture coordinate node, then connect it to a component mask, and only enable the G channel. That's the green channel. After that, add a Fresnel node and connect its output to a 1- node. Then add a power node after that. Now bring in a constant 3 vector. Right-click on it and choose Convert to Parameter, so we can easily adjust the color later in a material instance. Multiply the color by the previous node outputs. Connect that multiply node to opacity, and also connect the color itself to emissive color. That's it for the material. Now let's make the mesh for it. Go to the Modeling tab from the top left corner, then under Create, click on Cylinder. Place it in the level and adjust its size. I'll set the radius to 1.5. I won't change the other values, but you can adjust the height or radial slice if you want. Finally, right-click on your material to create a material instance and apply that instance to your cylinder. That's it. The base setup is done. Now I've downloaded a few simple meshes from Quixel, and I want to create a basic blueprint to make this cylinder interact with the player. So, first create a new blueprint actor. Then add the mesh that you want to use, and after that, add the cylinder mesh. To find where your cylinder mesh is located in the level, select it, and in the Details panel, click the magnifying glass icon next to Static Mesh. That'll show you exactly where it's stored. Now add the cylinder to the blueprint as well, set the location of all meshes to 0, and apply the material instance we created earlier to the cylinder again. Next, add a sphere collision component. All right, now let's move to the event graph. Drag the item mesh into the graph, pull out from it, and add a set static mesh node. Connect it to the begin play event. Now right-click on the new mesh input and select Promote to Variable. This lets us change the mesh later inside a child blueprint. Next, drag in the cylinder, add a Get Material node, then add a Create Dynamic Material Instance node. Using the return value, add a Set Vector Parameter Value node. This allows us to control the material's parameters directly from the blueprint. The parameter name in our material is color, so in the parameter name field, type color. Then right-click on the value input and choose Promote to Variable. so we can also adjust the color from the child blueprint. Now right-click on the sphere collision, go to Add Event and add Begin Overlap and End Overlap events. Next, add a timeline node and double-click it to open it. Click Add in the top left corner and choose Add Vector Track. Lock the X and Y axes since we only want to change the height Z. Set the length to 1 second. That means the animation will last 1 second. Now right-click and select Add Key Z to create a point. Set the time to 0 and the value to 1. This represents the default height of the mesh. Add another key. Set the time to 1 and the value to 0.6. This means that over 1 second, the mesh will scale down from 1 to 0.6 in height. Now connect. Begin overlap to play and end overlap to reverse from end. Next, bring in the cylinder again and add a Set Relative Scale 3D node. Connect it to the update output of the timeline. Right-click on the scale pin and choose Split Struct Pin to separate X, Y, Z. Do the same for the vector output of the timeline. Finally, connect only the Z value from the timeline to the Z input and set X and Y to 1 so the mesh keeps its original scale on those axes. Now, right-click on your blueprint and select Create Child Blueprint Class. Once you open it, you'll see the variables we created earlier on the right side, and now you can easily modify them. For example, I'll change the color to red, and I'll also replace the mesh with a different one. Then I'll place it in the level for testing. As you can see, nothing happens at first. That's because everything is connected to Event Begin Play, so the changes only take effect once we actually start the game. And as soon as we hit play, everything updates correctly. However, there's one small issue. I forgot to increase the size of the sphere collision. To fix that, open the main Master Blueprint, select the sphere, and in the Details panel, find Sphere Radius and increase it. I'll set mine to 180. Now let's test again. And as you can see, it's working perfectly. You can create as many child blueprints from the main one as you want and reuse them easily without duplicating the master blueprint. But the goal of this video wasn't to build a full inventory or pickup system. It was just to create this visual pickup effect. And one final important note. If you ever want to change the size of the cylinder, do it inside the mesh itself, not inside the blueprint. To do that, open the mesh, go to the Details panel Build Settings, and adjust the build scale value. After that, scroll down and click Apply Changes. That's a much cleaner way to resize it instead of constantly tweaking the scale numbers inside your master blueprint. I hope this video was helpful for you. In the next one, I'll show you how to recreate the Resident Evil 4 item pickup effect. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.